It is in between, and I don't know if I've ever been happier to say that introduction to an episode.
Yeah.
This was a grueling week from my lovely snafu with
extra long.
The software made us redo an episode again. Approximately 700 episodes in, and that's really only probably the second time we've had to redo something. So, hey, my batting average is pretty damn good with that.
Yeah.
But, oh, my God, it made it a little bit more excruciating.
Oh,
so,
painful.
with that, I threw out earlier, I watched M3GAN, the film about the killer doll. Now, I did watch I don't know if they called it the uncut version
Well, that's
or
what I was going to say, because I heard that the movie
Oh,
was...
is there now an uncut version?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, it was. I think it was really shot to be R, but then they cut it back to be PG-13,
Okay.
and so that they have the R stuff to put out on the digital
So
version.
did you watch an uncut R
Yes.
version of it or PG-13
So
version of
I
it?
got that via Peacock, the app. And I pay for Peacock for Abby because she loves The Office. It's like her go-to, decompress thing. And what I found out with Peacock, since they are Universal and whatnot, a lot of their films, like when you
Get out
rent
there real
them,
quick.
you can go over there and watch them for free.
Right,
So they
right.
put the uncut version out. So I threw this out. I'm going to speak spoilers.
Okay.
And I'm telling you on the podcast right now, if you've not seen it and you don't want to be spoiled,
Just skip like 5 minutes ahead.
yeah. So Abby had seen it, and she and I share a lot about loving horror films and things, and she let me know, she said, it's really not a horror film. It's more of a thriller that's creepy and
With blood every now
and there's a
then.
couple of starts, and I think that's a pretty fair assessment. It's not a horror film, but there are a couple of creepy ass moments and things. And so she went to see it, and she liked it. She asked me to watch it, and I went in and I thought, okay, I'd read the things that it's good, kitschy fun, that if you just let it happen, you'll enjoy it.
Gotcha.
I liked the movie quite a bit because as a parent, it does say a lot about that we give technology to children to pacify them and to let it be the parent
Right.
instead. And I thought that was a pretty powerful message in today's world. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The thing that hit me, and Richard, I'm sure you've heard me mention this shared friend of Sean and I. We have a friend named Brian and Wright. Brian, I love him, but one of the things I love most about him is going to movies like this with Brian, because if he gets tickled, the laughter that comes out of him is just, it's so joyous. Well, there is a moment where M3GAN kills a kid by making him tumble down a hill and he gets run over by a car. And when that kid, I wasn't expecting it. That was the thing for me when he
burst
gets
out?
hit with a kid. And whenever he looks, and I thought, and then when it hit, and boom, and I was like, oh my, and I just laid in my movie theater bag screaming with laughter because it was so outlandishly silly that's what had happened. From that point on, I thought I loved this movie. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
You were all in after that?
Yeah, and
found the tone of
I
the
think
movie?
it's creepy. I think it's fun. I think it's silly. I'm okay with that. I know you had a differing opinion, at least the first of the movie.
So, there's a moment where the two research assistants are in peril. In your unedited version, do they survive or do they die?
They survive
Okay.
at the very end of the film.
Yeah, there's just a lot of moments that could have been a little more gruesome, that were not gruesome, that were a little too
I don't
tame.
disagree with that.
And the movie for me actually was relative. I told Todd it took us 4 times to watch the film, and we'd start.
But
and
that's
we'd-
not a comment
we'd-
on the film. You have a problem getting through long pieces
Well,
of
it
media.
wasn't even that. We would get like 10 or 15 minutes in, and it's like, it's time to go to bed. Then we get like maybe 15, 20 minutes in. It's like, we'll pick this up another night. It was really unmotivating to us for the first, I'd say, hour, where it's building all the stuff to where she's just supposed to go off the rails. And I wish they had seeded a little more of that off the rails early on, rather than kind of developing the aunt and daughter relationship and the aunt's relationship with building this project. That was a long journey.
But I also think that's, I thought one of the
I
things...
wanted more comedy. I wanted more zing in that.
Okay, I don't mind the more comedy. The one thing that where I would differ with you is that I thought that it's a movie about parenting.
Okay.
And especially what she learns at the end that she gave M3GAN to the niece is a surrogate parent. And there's no such thing as a surrogate parent, and that's not even just me being a parent and you guys not. We all know that you need a parent in your life. You need that person that's always there to protect and to tell you the truth as much as you can take. So I thought that was pretty good. I do think that they kind of touch on the ideas of Megan's deception pretty well. I will tell you the most telegraphed moment is how they're going to beat the damn doll at the end, because it's literally like when they introduce, it's like, well, hello, thank you for telling me how you're going to get out of that. But you know, I thought it was good, campy fun, and at the end, I was glad to see that. Sure, there can be a sequel. What, Sean?
It should be a prequel. It's got to be Beforgan instead of M3GAN. Beforgan.
I'm going to let you punch him.
So her boss, the owner of the
He's
company,
the one thing I had an issue with. You go ahead.
Well, here's the deal. It wasn't until he has his blow up towards the end of the movie that I began to actually started to find his character funny, and I almost wish maybe I should watch it again, and go back to the beginning and realize he's already being absurd at the beginning.
See, and maybe that's my problem, because he is an Asian guy that is immediately aggressive, and I thought, oh, that's kind of a racial stereotype that you're going down
a bit. Yeah, it felt like it, but I mean,
and I didn't ever find him funny, so maybe if I watch it again,
when he is now dressing down his assistant. And he's talking about wanting his coffee or whatever it is. That's the point where I realized the film had now become a funny horror, right? That's when I realized I was Sean called it Chucky. That was kind of the point that I realized that I was watching something that I could both be scared and laugh at. And then it accentuates when we get to her dance moves in the hallway. Like, that's where you really just know it's going off the rails.
And the funny thing is with her dance moves, because that is so out there, you know, it's almost like the Wednesday Addams dancing thing. People got obsessed with dancing like her. I felt like they just kind of touched on it, the first of it, that the little girl kind of teaches her how to dance, but I thought you needed one more of those, so I
agree.
How and why she's doing it. It was just like, okay, but it's so creepy and weird.
Yeah.
It's a better Chucky. Chucky, did I ever tell you, do you know what Chucky's based on?
My buddy? The actual doll?
The actual events.
Oh, no.
So we found this out.
So like in 1985, whenever that guy tried to get his soul into another kid, I remember when that happened, right? That was all over the news when he tried to do that in the toy store, and he was trying to. That's the whole plot of Child's Play. He wants to put his soul into a kid, but
so
it's a doll.
We learned this. In fact, I brought it up here.
Based on true events.
You can come look at this in just a moment. So one of the things that we do on vacations, and it's a tradition that Shelley and Abby started when they would go on Girl Scout things, that they would take ghost tours. Have I ever told you about the ghost tour thing we do?
No, but...
So you find any number of, and it really is a sightseeing kind of thing. They tell you ghost stories. The best one we've ever been on was in Boston, and the woman kind of literally dressed up like a ghost, and like one of the best moments of happenstance, I got water on the lens, and she moved in a picture I took, so it left a ghostly image, and I was like, ah! But she told all these great things, and then it was like, she would stop and she'd say, and those incidents happened in this house right here at the Boston Strangler killed his first victim. And you're like, oh, fuck me, you know, but it's a great way to see these things, right?
Yeah.
So we go to Key West and we do it, and it was a great one too. But in Key West, they tell this story, and we'd seen everywhere you went in this fucking town, in the upper windows, you'd see like a window with a doll peeking around the corner. And it was like a flat cutout that people would put in the window, right?
Yeah.
It's Robert the doll. And Robert the doll, and it's a real doll, and I'll show you in a minute. They actually have this fucking doll. It is a doll that this man gave his child, and then that he had like a Haitian housekeeper or something that people said put a charm on it. Did you just look it up?
I'm looking it up now, but go ahead.
So we go, and what they said was it became this thing that the child was apparently a bad child, and anything that went bad, he'd go, Robert did it. And in Key West, if you say Robert did it, it's all about that. Well, the people that created Chucky heard that and said, we want to create our own version of it. They could not get the Robert the doll type thing, and so they blame it on it. You then, and feel free if you've not found the doll already, it's creepy as shit looking thing. So just type in Robert the doll.
Yeah, wow.
So that is literally in a case in Key West. They have like this old armory or things, and they go show you things. You go see Robert the doll, and the woman will tell you the last thing. And at this time, Abby's maybe 8. And so she's still very much enraptured in this kind of thing. And they say, so Robert has one thing. He's very particular about you asking if you can have photos. If you don't ask him, Robert will make bad things happen in your life. And fuck, if I don't see my kid like, grabbing my leg as I take a picture and she's pulling, Daddy, don't take the picture. Don't take the... Because he's creepy looking. And he's in a little sailor suit.
Terrifying.
His face is kind of pockmarked. And so I literally I said, Abby, I asked Robert, but do you want to go ask him? And no. And so I went and said, Robert, may I take a picture? And I fucked with my kid. And I just went, no. And she's like, Daddy. And I was like, I'm kidding, buddy. That was me. But it is such a great little story. And I'm not kidding. Anywhere you go in Key West, to this day, they still have the little Robert things in windows. And you'll be like, oh, fuck.
So you talk about ghost stories. At work, we are doing an auction of props from the Watchmen TV show. And ghost stories. We're auctioning just that. A ghost sheet. A sheet with 2 holes cut out of it. A character wore it in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Or in the show at one point.
That's cool. At first, I thought you were going to do it. When I saw that, there's that film just called Ghost Stories.
Yeah,
Ghost.
I think it's just Ghost.
Is it Ghost? I never saw that.
With Casey Affleck?
It may be.
Yeah.
I heard it was actually pretty interesting, but I love ghost stories. I know they're just silly. It's probably like when Stephen King does them well. Did you ever read Dune McKee? I know you.
No, I haven't. I kind of the last 15 years I've kind of fallen off his new stuff because he was putting out so much so fast. I was like, I can't keep up.
Dune McKee is a good one to the point that it's nice, good ghost story kind of shit to the point. You know what the rules? What can a ghost do and what can it not? Can it interact with the world? Can it not? And that's just the writer's decision. You know, can it pull things out? There's a point in Dune McKee where it's like wet footprints on a step, and it's like you get there, and I mean, it was almost like the Joey thing from Friends where he takes it and puts it in the freezer. I was like, fuck this shit.
Nope.
He also did that one, A Bag of Bones. Did you ever read that one?
That one I did read. Yeah.
Do you remember when he's found the new young girlfriend and her little kid has the magnetic letters on the refrigerator, and all of a sudden he opens the fridge and he hears the scraping of them move, and it's like it's almost like telling him out. Shelley said she's never seen me more afraid. I was like, fuck this shit.
Well, whenever I was younger, when I'm talking young, I'm talking like 13. My dad had a copy of The Shining, and it was all silver, like reflective, and it had a boy's face, but it had no features on it.
Oh.
So that always creeped me out that it was this kid with no features on his face on the silver book. So it was almost like reflecting your face in it.
Right.
So every time I saw that book on the bookshelf, I had to like put it like a different place so I really couldn't see it.
Richard, do you have anything that creeps you out, scares you? Like consistently of that type of storytelling?
No.
No?
Richard has no fears.
Do you like ghost stories?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, we are.
I mean, I tend to, you know, Chris and I were looking for like random movies to watch. It typically tends to be something on the horror bent, but I wouldn't say that I'm a horror fan, and they're just cheap and easy to watch.
Right.
That's Night Sister's car from Watchmen show.
Sean works for an auction house, and that's one of the fun things that he does from time to time is send me with their auction.
You pictures.
He also knows how much I love Regina King, and they're auctioning some of her.
But that's
costumes.
like the actual car.
Yeah, that's cool.
So right now it's only at $4,700.
I find ghost stories compelling just because they can. It's almost like what M3GAN does is it allows you to tell a story about something else and strip it away. And I think the best of ghost stories, you know, like Haunting of Hill House, whenever it can be about grief and letting go, and by showing that the ghosts hang on to it, and that we all do too. I love that kind of storytelling.
And you know, whenever you can do pottery with your partner. You love ghost stories.
So Annabelle, because I want to know if Annabelle is connected to Robert or what's it. Says Annabelle is inspired by a real life Raggedy Ann doll.
Yes.
Here's the official Annabelle movie trailer for the horror film. The actual doll exists locked up in the Occult Museum in Connecticut.
Yeah, when you see the actual doll, you go, what the fuck?
Supposedly
it's just a Raggedy Ann doll.
Supposedly visited twice a month by priests who bless her.
Okay. When it comes to that shit, I don't believe any of that. That occult,
but
that will ruin a movie faster for me when it becomes the occult, and I'm done.
I'm actually kind of bored of movies that rely upon Catholicism or kind of nuns or religion in a way.
Like the Pope's exorcist. Ooh.
I mean,
I'm more scared about the Pope because he's covering up pedophilia. But yeah, let's worry about.
I mean, I feel like it's become less relevant to me as I myself have moved further and further away from
religion
faith itself.
Right.
That it doesn't have that same kind of meaning or power
or if
to
you're
me.
going to do that, do a different religion's boogeyman's. Don't do a Christian boogeyman.
I'm bored of it. I see a movie. And it's like, oh, it's got Catholics and nuns.
Yeah,
in it.
once you see that, you're like, oh, whatever.
Did you ever see? Is it Hereditary?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I was compelled by that movie partially because the advertising was about that little girl,
yeah,
and then
pull that swerve on you.
and I'm like, okay, hey, I'm into this. And then when it becomes the twist at the end that it's some
demon.
It's like,
Pagan. Yeah.
why?
Just
What?
a demon?
That's
Okay.
the best you could find is just to inhabit demons and people.
Make it
again?
a space monster from beyond time and space that we can't comprehend. But no, when it's just
Make it anything. Make it,
But give me, I don't know Muslim heaven, hell, boogeyman
True.
stuff. Give me those things. Give me, I mean, there was one about, I don't even know what it's called, but a Jewish box that had a demon in it. So
A Jewish box.
It was about this box. And so at least it went to a Judaism scary part. I don't know what all the boogeyman's of Judaism is, but
Well, I think that I haven't seen The Exorcist in forever, but I know from the standpoint, at least they went to Iran and did some different aspects of Christianity and told me something new.
Did we talk about As Above, So Below?
I've seen that. Yeah.
What?
I love
That was
movie.
a fun one. Yeah,
Yeah, that did involve a little bit of
It's
religion.
some people going into
As Above,
Paris.
So Below.
They're going to.
I've never seen that.
They're going to the catacombs in Paris, and they get farther and farther into it, and more scary things start happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm adding that to a list of things to watch.
I mean, it's just a fun journey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
It's one of those things that I need.
it's
to
kind of scary, but I just love the journey.
And
on
this
it.
is not spoiling anything for Todd, but what the conceit is, I want to go and see if halfway through the movie is where everything kind of
right
halfway
right.
through.
No, it is a found footage, and it's not done great as found footage, but the concept of it is awesome.
People
Okay.
going to explore the Parisian catacombs.
That I want to see. So, speaking of things, and I don't know why that made me think of it. Have either of you watched Poker Face?
No, because I
which one is
can't
that
do
one?
another streaming service.
That's on Hulu.
No, that's on Paramount Plus.
That
Unless
Did we
you've
watch
got
Poker
Paramount
Face?
through
Let me look
Hulu.
at
no,
somehow.
I think I must plug it in through
I think
there.
we may have tried to watch it.
Or no, I have it on Peacock. That's where it is.
Oh,
for
it's
me.
on Peacock. That's
Yeah,
right.
that is what it is.
We may have
on.
tried to watch it.
Paramount,
Let me
Peacock,
see.
It's so it's
Apple.
Rian Johnson
Yeah.
doing what Rian Johnson does really well, which is mystery.
Mystery.
Now, what I think's funny about it is Natasha Lyone is interesting no matter what she does. She plays that gruff kind of person.
The New
wonderfully.
York. with
And if you don't
I'm
know,
walking here.
the simple concept is that she can tell when anyone's lying, and
Oh, you're talking about the show, not
Yeah.
the movie. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I've watched the show.
it's cute.
And that's it. That's my problem with it. But go ahead.
But what I thought immediately was it is literally like Murder, She Wrote with a superpower. And by the way, do not become her friend because you will fucking die. It's almost like she befriends the people. I've not finished it yet. She befriends a lot of the people who end up dying. And so it's like, I got to solve my friend's murder. And I'm like, well, shit, bitch, I see you coming. I am not befriending you.
Like when
So-
Jessica Fletcher shows up, run away.
Yeah.
I like the concept. There are moments that I really enjoy. I know that it's Rian Johnson, but there's something about it that is too network television for me.
I thought the same thing.
That makes it hard to watch. That it is her on Murder She Wrote. It's that next adventure. It's that next.
It's a story of the week.
It's a story of the week, and so I don't feel
Which
any,
can be fun.
which can be fun, but I don't feel any because I'm not like drawn into some deeper, grander thing.
Which it does have a deeper, grander thing because there's the idea that she somehow created a situation where someone killed himself and that person's parent wants to find her to bring her to retribution. So it's there, but that's to me that's not
That's compelling for a 22 episode show. I mean, it may not be
it's not
22
even compelling.
episodes.
They don't do enough to keep me
Are
interested.
they
in
doing
that
22
idea.
or just 13?
I don't know about that.
But I mean, I'm saying it has that sense. It has that sense that every episode is Freak of the Week, which
Yeah.
can be done well, but it feels like network TV. Like there's nothing biting or dark or sinister about what's
That's
happening.
my problem is that though these are people murdering and doing things for the wrong reasons, it doesn't go wrong enough.
The barbecue episode was the one I think we watched most recently. If you've seen that one,
I've seen that one.
and it these people are terrible, terrible people,
Right.
people.
right? But I don't feel that. I'm still laughing at some of them at the end of the episode
And I
because
think
they
maybe
get
that's
their
what they
comeuppance.
want.
Like, oh, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
She got caught. Oh, she.
Now, some of the
exposed her
dialogue
secrets.
is beautifully written. I think that the characters inhabit themselves very well, and there are funny things that happen. But I feel kind of the same, where I'm kind of like, okay, maybe if I need something that doesn't make me worry about the world, I just go, and it's done.
I mean, that's what it is.
It's a Big Mac,
Right,
It's it's a well made Big Mac.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys are watching?
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur on Disney Plus. It's a kid show, but the art style reminds you of a hand drawn Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
It's really cute show about the really smart girl and her devil dinosaur.
Mandalorian. Are we all caught
course
up?
we're watching that.
Mando, yeah.
Wait, Yes. Yes. I'm
So
caught
it's definitely all Mandalorian. But
Well,
man,
except for this episode was a little touch of Mando plus, hey, let's see what's going on Coruscant.
well, let's also take a little bit of Andor's approach and do an adult story in the middle of the Mandalorian, where it really becomes about what do you do when a war ends and cultures and societies have to collide with one another.
I actually hadn't drawn the connection to Andor at that point, but yeah, because the first 2 episodes of the Mandalorian, were totally supposed to be different than Andor. And I'm back in this universe, not the Andor universe. But I hadn't really considered the fact that that's what happens in the 3rd episode.
That's the way it felt to me, is that suddenly we're doing something where there are adult implications of what living in a post-fascist society is like, and the fact that even those that become the good guys
doing something bad,
do horrible things.
It's the OSS. We take Nazi scientists from Germany and use their research for our gain.
Right. Do you know what, Chris? The episode before Mandalore, Chris had a small problem with it. But he said because the planet's called Mandalore, the character's called the Mandalorian. That's a Mandalorian. They're all called Mandalorians, but that's a mythosaur.
Not a. But there's been
he's like everything else should be. Why isn't it called a Mandalorthosaur or something like that? Yeah.
But there's been talk about a crossover between all the shows. Have you heard about this?
No,
there's going to be a crossover between Mandalorian and Andor. Well, not necessarily. Ahsoka and the Bad Batch, and it's like they're going to go. They're calling it the Mandoverse or something like that.
But they definitely have set up the fact that what we're trying to introduce in Mandalorian this time is
the Skeleton Crew, and it might cross over that somehow.
They've definitely tried to introduce the whole idea of what Ahsoka's looking for, which is what God
Thrawn, Grand Admiral
Thrawn, and what is that damn
kid?
And we've even got his character in Game of Heroes, Ezra Pritchett, right?
Miller. I don't know.
Ezra Miller's the Flash.
I know. That's why I couldn't remember the last
Bridger.
But the reason that is that when Grogu Luke's out in the middle of hyperspace, it's the whales.
Living and out there. So that goes back to the rebels.
And they're trying to introduce so that when we see Thrawn next time, I have heard that this next episode is the one that they're all kind of going, hang on to your butts, because Dave Filoni actually helped write this one. And they're saying it is, Carl Weathers directed it, but Filoni co-wrote it, and usually when Filoni writes it, that means it's somehow very deeply connected. So
I may have mentioned it in between last week when one of those were doing it, but I mean, he said he's already written the next season.
Oh yeah, that they've already got season 4 already.
They've already written
Mandalorian.
Yeah,
it's already written. And
John Favreau.
And he's not really
there's no end
known to the character. Yeah.
Well,
he doesn't know where the story's going to end for this character yet. He's not there yet. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
I kind of like that too, as long as it doesn't become one of those that's just prolonging it to prolong it.
If it doesn't become lost.
Well, if they're still continuing to do kind of these world building, mythos changing things that can springboard into other stuff, then yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I've even thought that Bad Batch has become better.
It has. I now haven't watched the last episode yet. I think I'm a couple episodes behind.
It's not perfect, but it's better. There's at least something I care about now.
I could do without Omega.
Oh, come on, everybody! Let me use my bow shooter.
Except, have you ever seen the woman who does her voice?
Is she like Asian or something?
And she's gorgeous. So every time I watch a little kid, I'm like, wow, it is very forced.
The accent is really, really, really heavy.
Yeah. But I do like the fact that she is somehow going to be the key to it all because they want her.
I hope so, but her character is also very simple. I know she's a child, but the character is almost too simple.
I've heard what they're trying to do. This is a rumor, is they're trying to retrofit in how the Emperor clones himself for this prequel, the sequel.
That's what I thought they would do between that and also talking about Grogu and the cloning for that and what the Empire's plans were.
What this guy wanted this last time, where he wanted the table to go into research his cloning.
Yeah, so I feel like they were setting up Empire, the Emperor stuff well.
I would rather they set up that those movies never existed.
Too late.
I did watch. Is Rise of Skywalker the last
one?
one?
We talked about this last week.
Okay,
yeah.
We did.
I watching it. It's just like so incredibly bad. It just it's possibly as bad as this, where it just feels like it's fan service.
No overarching plan.
No,
just hey, Throw out everything that happened in the first movie for the second movie. Throw out everything that happened in the second
Yep.
movie for the third movie.
So we're at 24 minutes, and I'll just say this. Man, oh man,
did
was
it.
that a couple of weeks to get through in
whipped
one
it.
day.
Yeah.
Thank you guys sticking through it. We thank all of you out there for listening to us. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Save it. All right.